Scott, straight up, I called this, dude. I called it, and I'm like, this is what's gonna happen, and this sucks because a year after launch, PlayStation has reportedly paused PSVR2 production due to slow sales. Sony has only published two PSVR2 games since it launched a year ago. Chris Scullion over at VGC. Dude, that was a writing on the wall. When there was no first-party support, done. Hello, Vita. Rest in peace.
Yeah, we've seen this Stadia. We've seen this happen before, too.
Yep, Stadia had the same problem, right? A new report by Bloomberg claims that PlayStation VR 2 shipments have been getting progressively smaller every quarter since the headset launched in February of 2023, and that Sony has now paused production altogether. Ugh. The report cites research firm IDC, which tracks deliveries to retailers rather than consumer sales, and which says Sony has a surplus of assembled PSVR 2 headsets throughout its supply chain, due which they're now trying to open up to the Steam market so that they can just fluff off the rest of them and then walk away. Dude, we do not see a PSVR 3.
No, I think this is it. This is definitely the sentencing.
Yes, I think it is. PlayStation VR 2 was released in February of 2023 at a retail price of $549.99. This is US dollars for us Canadian folks. It was a lot more, yeah. But Sony has still yet to officially confirm how many units it has sold to date. They don't want to talk about it, Scott. Previously estimated by IDC, suggested sales had started slowly, suggesting around 270,000 units sold by the end of March 2023, but Sony later claimed that PlayStation VR 2 sold around 600,000 units during its first 6 weeks of availability. In Bloomberg's report, IDC estimates that the sales declined to 435K in 2023 Q2, and then 343.6K in Q3, and 325.2K in Q4. Sony's first-party game support for PlayStation VR 2 has been slim. That is an understatement. It has been abysmal. It has been disgustingly slow, disgustingly not supported, and this is why it's now dying. Dude, I got a code this morning. Code popped into my email for a PlayStation VR 2 game. I chuckled. Wow. I chuckled, dude. I'm like, it's a third party. This is not from Sony, right? It's a third party title. I'm like, this is the only thing that's going to keep this alive, right? Indies kept the Vita alive. And then eventually it just went out to die completely. When the headset launched, Sony released Horizon, Call of the Mountain, and a VR update to Gran Turismo 7. And then just went like this.
And that was it.
They just washed their hands and walked away. In the years since then, the only other game Sony Interactive Entertainment has published for the headset has been Firewall Ultra, an online team-based shooter which was released in August and received a Metacritic score of 61. Since then, Scott, you ready? That studio no longer exists. Yeah. Earlier the year, the COO of Rec Room, the popular VR social platform, said there was no plans to bring it to PlayStation VR 2 because the studio couldn't justify the cost. Quote, in an ideal world, we would love to bring Rec Room to PSVR 2, but we just can't justify the cost based on the numbers. End quote. Cameron Brown said in January. Quote, sucks, I know, but that's the truth. End quote. Last month, Sony confirmed that it's testing PlayStation VR 2 compatibility with PC. The company aims to enable players to connect it to their PSVR 2 headsets to PCs later this year in order to access more games. That's because Sony doesn't support their own platform. Scott, dude, this came out. If you're a huge Horizon fan, before you let this just completely die, do yourself an honor and go play Horizon Call of the Mountain. Even if you only play the first 15 minutes of the game. Like, I don't care if you play the rest of it, just go play the first 15 minutes, man. Because I'm telling you,
get that experience of what could have been.
Dude. Like, they just... What did you guys do? Yeah, well, we all know what they did. They didn't support it. And then they rely on third parties to carry it all forward for them. And it just doesn't work, right? Insomniac. Why hasn't Insomniac created anything for the PSVR 2? You know how many things they've created outside of PlayStation for VR? dude, you and I covered a bunch of their games over on the MetaQuest, right? Or the Quest 2, and then it was, you know, the Rift, all that kind of stuff. They have a history though of VR. So why aren't they bringing something to the table? Now on the other side of it, right? PlayStation says you guys create what you want to create. And I can appreciate that as a creative person myself. So the fact that they aren't pigeonholed and told to go this way in that direction doesn't force their hand into PlayStation VR2. But if their own studios aren't excited to work on the platform, that should have told you right there not to make another one.
Yeah, no, how many would they have had to sell, really, to justify that? Or to bring in enough third-party support? Would have had to been double the numbers they sold? Will we ever really know? It's all past now.
Well, you're not going to get a Spider-Man AAA production that you got, Spider-Man 2, for PlayStation VR or PlayStation 5 over to PlayStation VR. They're just not going to have that, right? It's just not going to be the same experience. You don't have the install base. There's a lot of pieces missing when it comes to bringing that over there. And I don't think any of the first-party studios want to deal with it. And then they're shutting down. Dude, they just shut down London Studios, right? Which previously worked on a PlayStation VR title. Like, it's just, even though their new game, here's the other side of it, right? London Studios shut down. Their other game, Blood and Truth. A fantastic game on PSVR 1. Where's the sequel? Dude,
yeah, that would have made way too much sense.
It should have been a launch title. Instead, London Studios themselves working on a games of service model. That's what they were working on. They were working on a games of service model game, and then they got shut down. I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, the writing's been on the wall here for a very long time. My PSVR2 unit continues to collect dust, and it's just another shot in the dark that I'm just like, why? Why is this? You know what it's going to do? You're going to mount it right next to my PlayStation Vita, which sucks.